Hi everyone, and welcome to the Battleroll Isolation Paint Battle results video. Ciao. Alright, so 3 weeks ago I put forward a painting challenge for people to get involved with. So it's been a really interesting 3 weeks. There's been a lot going on in the world, and it's been a really great distraction to have this kind of going on and been able to go on Twitter and Instagram and see everyone's work in progress shots, see everyone talking on there and stuff, and you know, talking about their models, and it's been really, really great. And now it's time for the results. But before I go into them, first I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's got involved with this, whether it's, you know, whether you've actually painted an entry, whether you started painting it and didn't quite finish it, whether you were just, you know, talking online to people about their entries and stuff. Thank you so much. It's been great for me personally, a great distraction to have while everything is going on in the world. And so I hope that, you know, you've enjoyed it as much as I have. So let's all have a look at, see what everyone painted. All right, so first up we have Chris, aka Fluffhammer, who painted this lovely Arch Revenant from Sylvaneth. Now, I don't know whether or not Chris actually technically finished this, as he didn't send out like the final shots or anything, but he'd done a lot of work on it, so I thought I'd show it in here anyway. And it looks great. I love the blade. I love the color on the blade. I love bright colors like that, and they contrast so well with the blue and all that kind of stuff. It just looks fantastic. The kind of the lines and the striations on the horns look brilliant altogether. Really nicely well done. And then after that we've got Skilled Hand 68, who painted this lovely Gaveny, what are they called? Those this thing, Vermin Lord. I love the colours. I love the blue and the kind of pinky purpley kind of thing. I love the kind of contrast on the green orb here, and the base as well, especially, just looks pretty stunning. I love that there's the Skaven symbol there with the like wooden planks. That looks really cool. I love that a lot. And just, yeah, it looks really cool. There's some really nice transitions going on the tail there. Overall, just a great looking model. Well done. So next up we have the Neck Bromancer. And so Dave painted this sweet Weird Knob Shaman conversion. The one thing I really love about this are these details on the cloak at the back. How they like really make the texture feel like it's this kind of really rough kind of leather type thing, and I think that just works really well. Really cool. Then you got some nice like rust effects on the metal and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just think it looks really cool. I like it. I dig it. Then next up we've got Sir Percival. This is Matt's Magalord, and as you can see, it's just pretty stunning. There's some really like nice little sort of small conversion-y type things that you don't notice immediately. Like all of the tongues and stuff on the mouth are not normal, you know, are not the traditional for any of the different types of the Magalords that you get. And then the eyes, they contrast so well against the kind of green and the purple of the body and the guts. Isn't that cool? Matt always does these amazing like freehand work on his banners. Like, as you can see, that just looks awesome. Like, and it captures like the model as well, as though it's like, you know, it's got the same kind of little blue sort of spot colors in there as well, and it looks really great. I think it's really like stunning model to look at, and like all of the kind of mucky transitions and stuff through the kind of green and like the white and the purpley type reddy stuff into the kind of brighter green, all the kind of like striations on the bones and all of that. It all just works really well. He's got like the darker bits of the bone at the kind of bottom instead of up this end, and I think that adds to the contrast. Like here, like if you imagine like this dark brown was down here and then the whiter sort of lighter end was at the other end, that just wouldn't look as good. Like it wouldn't contrast as well as it does there. So it's just, everything he's done there has just pulled it out really well. I like it a lot. Next up we have Aloha Brush. Now this is a pretty sweet example of how to do some really nice weathering. Like, it's the, I want to say Dread Cans. I can't remember the exact name of the orc unit. Yeah, like if you have a little close up on the face here that he's done, and you can see all of the different colors and all of the different textures and stuff that go into that weathering effect. Looks so cool. And weathering is something I've never really done before, so I kind of have, extra kudos for people who can pull it off really well. And this is definitely an example of that. Even across the red and stuff, it's slightly more subtle in terms of how the weathering goes on, and on this orange and stuff. Yeah, I think that's a pretty epic sort of form of weathering, so I like that a lot. Next up we have GMAC 2610, aka Matt Clark. And Matt has done some really funky stuff with this Zangor Shaman. What I really like on this actually is the feathers, especially. I love how there's like stripes to them, as opposed to what's quite common with these guys is to have sort of very fluid transitions from, so you'd have like the kind of pink into the blue into the darker blue. But I really like how he's chosen to kind of stick to these really like sort of harder stripes, because I think that just adds something a bit new that people haven't seen quite as much necessarily. I really like how the kind of the transitions in the leg that go from a kind of slightly purplier blue into this kind of greenier blue. I dig it. Next up, Les from Facehammer and/or the Six Nations winning team, aka Winter Soldier on Twitter. He painted this amazing Dark Angels Marine, and I think what a lot of people have, because he posted quite a lot of work in progresses for this, and I think what a lot of people have seen is all of the work he did on this base and to create this amazing marble effect. He's also got the kind of that very nice like metallic-y power swordy type effect with the, where you like cross over the light parts and stuff. I know that's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but here it's executed really well. The really kind of crisp white lines that then sort of tie all together look amazing. Overall, just a really tidy, really nice job. There's always been a great painter, so I would have expected nothing less. So this is from Pro Painted, aka Matt Lyons. So it's been really fun. Had a bit of a resurgence of people in our local group painting up some Star Wars Legion stuff. So it's really nice to see that here. He did a snow speeder in this, basically the same kind of scheme. It had the kind of like orange stripy thing, and that in the flesh looks absolutely stunning. Like how he's managed to layers of color without them looking like you'd put any layer. It just didn't look like you put layers down at all. It looked so matte and solid and flat against the model, and it just looked stunning. So I imagine like this probably looks as good in real life. Obviously it looks amazing in the photos that he's done, and I'm hoping that once we're allowed to go out again, I'll be able to go and see it in the flesh. Basing as well just looks really cool. Another great use of some weathering techniques here. I kind of roughly know how people do it, but then I feel like the way I think I would do it just wouldn't look like this. Like I don't quite know how I'd go about doing this, so I'm gonna have to ask for some tips, I think. But yeah, some pretty stunning work there. Next up, we've got JP, who has done this amazing Night of Zeros job. I love this OSL technique that contrasts from the kind of orange into blue. That's on the color wheel they're opposite, so they complement each other really well and all that kind of stuff, and it just looks stunning. I know there's lots of other painters who do this kind of style, and I really like it. I think it's amazing, and I especially love the execution that he's done here. In the dark as well, it looks really great, and I love that when it is slightly more dark, the sort of extra edge highlights of the orange really pop out more, and even on like up on the blue on his pauldron and his lightning mohawk thing, I don't know, but like the way that they really kind of pop out, I think looks really cool. I really like that a lot. As a fly, leave me nature. Next up, Terry Pike. So first of all, we'll go over like his basing. It's a really clever like just use of color, use of contrast in terms of like the glossiness of it versus the matteness of the rest of the base and the kind of dustiness. That like if you take the color away, you still have that kind of shine versus the matte, which is really cool. So then adding in that, you know, super bright color, which again then complements into the rest of the model, looks really, really cool. I know that Terry stippled the whole model basically, or certainly all of the skin. It just works. I really, really like that technique. I think it looks really cool. I think it works really well. The colors he's chosen are phenomenal. I love that it's got the kind of pastel shade, pastel-y like purple shadows in there and stuff. It's not, you know, going right back down to black or anything. He's using color as a shadow, which is something I always really like to do and I really like to see. He's then, so this is also like a bit of a conversion. I think it's one of the new Warcry monsters. Using one of them, he's converted by adding some wings that look from a Crypt Flare. What are they called? Demon Prince sword there. There's been some, like, people have talked online since he posted it about the wings and how some people aren't as big a fan of the kind of, it's like water rings, I guess. So what you do is you know, water down some paint, drop it on there, so there's a big drop of it, and then wait for that drop to dry. And then what you get is this like ring stain basically. And that's a really fun technique that he's used there. I think people have said that they don't necessarily like how it has ended up, and personally I think maybe just a bit more of it would have helped tie it into the rest of the wing. What I really loved was to see it more on these undersides, so that also then, because it's quite a dark color as well, it would add to the contrast between the kind of light that's shining down from the top and underneath. But that's being super, super picky, and it's only because I know that other people have kind of picked it up and stuff. But it looks stunning. He's posted a video as well where you can see how he's done the shield in sort of more of a true metallic. So underneath here it's really, really dark. You've then got some darker bronze kind of colors that go into some much sort of lighter, brighter, goldy colors that then sit on top. It looks very, very silver. And it's hard, that's really hard to show in a photo. So there's some videos online that you can go and check out and see how he's done that. And personally, I'm a big fan of that kind of true metallic technique. Colors as well, purple and blue, my kind of faves. So, you know, well done, Terry. It looks really cool. So next up, we've got Hidden Realm. The conversion work on here is stunning. So first of all, it's a big 40k knight, big fan. It's Nurgle, big fan. And then it just looks really cool. Like all of the extra details in terms of like the kind of the wires that are, you know, almost like it's been hot wired a little bit, and then there's like the drooly kind of gloopy stuff is really cool. Some stunning green stuff work there. And then the kind of execution, the palettes all kind of grimy and nurgly and chaosy and gross, and just all of the different textures that come through. You know, you've got the kind of metallic, sort of sharp industrial stuff with the, you know, the chainmail-y type stuff against like the, you know, the kind of more bio-y, gloopy grossiness of it all. Just, I think, contrasts really well and just looks super cool. I think, you know, you can kind of, everyone should be able to appreciate the amount of work and effort that's gone into converting that, and then it looks really great. I like it a lot. And then finally we've got Chris, aka the Black Sun, who's put up part of his Feti army, so this Slaughtermaster. So Feti is from Ember to Inferno. It's a tale of 4 gamers basically. They're on their second iteration, so it's Feti 2. If you want to follow it on Twitter, every month they do a unit and play games and stuff, although less of the gaming at the moment. But it's really worth checking out the progress that you know, everyone's making through that, because there's some stunning armies there. Chris has done with his kind of weird alien-y Slaughtermaster ogre type things. I really like it. I think it looks really cool. Like, it goes so well with the color palette he's chosen, the really kind of pallid skin, and then the really bright basing, the really sort of like high contrast black into blue on these sort of minion-y things, which again, they just look super cool, as opposed to like, you know, normal Noblars or whatever. Noblars. And then he's used this super high chrome effect paint that he's been using across the whole army for the cauldron. It looks like, someone said it looks like Mercury in there, and I think that's really spot on. It looks really cool. There's a video as well of it online, so you can see it in the flesh, because again, that kind of effect, you need to see it moving around for it to really, really kind of hit home. And again, just like the colors, the, you know, all the line work and everything, really, really dig it. It looks really awesome. Make sure you check out the rest of his army because it looks great all together. And yeah, that's it. So there we have it. Those were all the entries. What I really loved about all of them is that every single one did something different, or, you know, a bit cool, or had that thing that I could pick out and say, oh wow, that's awesome, I really like the way they've done that, or I really like the way that that technique has happened, or they've specifically worked on like textures or colors or contrast. You know, it's been really fun going through them all and just seeing what's come out of you guys, and so I'm very grateful for that. We do have to narrow it down, and that's been really tough, because actually there's loads of them that I really like. There's loads which I think, you know, should be worthy of the final winning position, as it were. But I've managed to only just narrow it down to a top 3. And these are not, you know, it's not necessarily, oh, these are the technically most best ones, or these are the ones which have the best colors or have the best conversions or whatever. You know, yeah, I've taken everything into account, picked the 3 which I think look the most awesome, and I had a lot of fun seeing their progress and seeing them come to life. So first up, we've got at Sir Percival with his lovely painted Maggot Lord. Then we've got at Pro Painted with his stunning Rebel Speeder for Legion. And then we've got at Terry Pike 84 with his amazingly well done Demon Prince. So these 3 are, you know, for me, they just hit all of the things that I like to look at when, you know, you're looking at models and stuff. Great colors, great transitions, standout, stunning sort of centerpieces that make you go and kind of look at it and go, wow. Some really sweet techniques, you know, Matt with his freehand on his Maggot Lord, and then Terry with his stippling effect, and then Matt Lyons with his awesome weathering effect. The model that gets the coveted first place is going to go to Terry Pike's Demon Prince. Seeing that stippling effect come to life, the colors that he's chosen, the contrasts, it all just sits together in a really, really nice, well-painted model. It was super close and really tough to pick the final one. As a little bonus, I'm going to send the other 2 of those top 3 a cheeky £5 digital voucher as well, because I thought they both just did an incredible job, and it was really hard to pick from that final 3. So yeah, there we have it. And again, thanks to everyone who got involved. Thanks for following along. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see what happens. You know, if lockdown's going to get extended, then maybe we'll do another one. Maybe try and do something a bit different with it and just see what happens. But yeah, thanks everyone. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and see you later.